if I'm imagining the most British outfit imaginable, probably like a long red velvet coat, fox hunting boots, and one of those tall furry hats from the palace guards with a powdered wig perched on top. How close am I?
You kidding? That's my weekend outfit.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to A Very Special Relationship, the podcast that asks, can I come over there if things get too weird over here? Oh, they're weird over there, too? Okay, never mind then. I am your host, Andrea Bridges Smith, just back from a vacation to our nation's capital, Washington, D.C., where I got to experience the raw sexual magnetism of the Bureau of Labor Statistics. And here with me from the British capital is none other than Matt Johnston. Matt, anything exciting going on over there with the election?
Hello, Andrea. Well, I suppose the big news over here was that I was right about something. All
Oh.
right, that's not big news, no, but it should be. Do you remember when last we spoke and I said that there would be something big either of the parties will do that will seriously dent their chances of winning the election?
Yes, I believe that we were primed and ready for someone to have an illegitimate child or six come out. Is that right?
Yes, although it's worth mentioning Boris Johnson hasn't been PM for nearly 2 years now, so that's unlikely. But yes. Anyway, cover me in chocolate and call me the smug smarty because the event happened last week, in fact, when we weren't here. I mean, obviously.
I hate it when that happens. Guys, stop doing things while we're on vacation. No news is allowed to happen,
Right,
okay?
right. Yeah, I mean, I'm guessing that's the royal we, Andrea, because anyway,
Yes.
you had a nice enough time. There we go. Yes, you're aware it was the 80th anniversary of the D-Day landings, the Normandy landings on the 6th of June, 1944, which
Right,
led to the liberation of France and then obviously on to the end of the Second World War itself.
right.
So effectively the last major milestone for the remaining brave souls that fought on that beach. And Rishi Sunak went there, obviously with all the other world leaders, and
Hmm.
left early. In fact, he left the Foreign Secretary, David Cameron, with Olaf Scholz, who's the German's Chancellor, Macron for France, and obviously Joe Biden for the US. All world leaders with one exception. Cameron very much looking like the odd one out.
I heard about this, and I can't imagine doing this at any time, but especially not in the middle of an election.
Exactly. I mean, this is not only disrespectful, it's also bizarre. Here you are, as you say, Andrea, in the middle of an election, by the way that he called,
Yeah,
and you have this proud moment in the country's history. All you have to do is stand there to attention in front of the Union Jack and maybe even get a bit of a bump in the polls. Sorry, bit cynical, but it would cross your mind, wouldn't it? And
right.
Sunak buggered off.
And I gotta ask, what the hell was so important that he blew this off? Was someone launching a nuke nearby or something?
Yeah. Well,
Was Liz Truss threatening to do something to the economy again? Like, is that why he had to scoot on
step
out of
away
there?
from the economy. Somebody elder Sunak. Yeah, Liz Truss has got the keys to the Treasury. All right. No,
Yeah.
you'll love this actually, Andrea. He left to do an ITV interview, an interview that his people said was the only day he was free. It just beggars belief.
If only he had some staffers who knew how to rearrange a schedule. That would have been so useful. Honestly, that is a weaker excuse than I had to stay home and do my skincare routine. But, to be fair to him, his pores do look gorgeous.
He uses the tears of the poor, apparently. Now, there was talk of him resigning. I mean, to be fair, from other Tories, not from Sunak himself. But unsurprisingly, it hasn't gone down well with the voters. The Conservatives are currently on 20% in the polls. 20%. It's
20%.
the lowest poll number for an election in the history for the Conservatives. And it's looking like they could very well be on their way out. People are starting to describe this as an extinction level event. And the D-Day celebration could well have been their asteroid. You remember when we watched Sunak come out of number 10 to announce the election in the rain? I remember looking at it thinking, well, the only way is up. I mean, how wrong I was.
Honestly, Matt, all that I can feel right now is just pure jealousy. I would love that kind of political asteroid just to come and smash into
Mm.
the Conservative Party. Hopefully, it's coming soon. But I'm curious, what's happening with everyone else in the election who isn't the Tories? How are they doing?
Well, the Tories doing badly is rather good news for another, well, even further right-wing nasty party called the Reform Party. They're
Oh,
actually getting a bit of a bump in the polls as a result of people leaving the Tories. It's the one headed by Nigel Farage. You remember Nigel Farage or Farage
Ah,
or whatever you
yes.
want to call him? Yes, it was just he's just on about every radio show, television show over here rather, as people just want to give him a platform. You know, he says these outrageous things. People go, "Oh, isn't that outrageous? We want to ask you about this." Blah blah blah. He hasn't won a single seat. You know, there's over 650 of them. He's not won a single one. The only MP he's got defected from another party. And of course, he would be the first one to complain of cancelling if he doesn't get on a particular show. But it is surprising how he's able to be in the UK launching his manifesto while simultaneously having his tongue down the Don's trousers over there in the US.
Well, you have to be able to multitask, I guess.
Yeah, well, that's one word for it, I suppose. Yeah. So, for those that aren't familiar with Reform, they are a nasty, divisive, anti-immigration, anti-trans, anti-climate change party. Think of them like the Republicans without the guns. Basically, both parties have re at the front, like regressive and repressive and repugnant.
And over here, in our case, reloading. So I have a quick question for you. So you
Yeah.
have the Tories who already seem like the anti-immigration, anti-trans, anti-climate change party. Do you need a reform party too? Are
I
they,
would
why do we have
say,
both?
yeah, I would say no to both Reform and the Tories, but that would just be me. Essentially, the Reform line is that immigration has gone up in the UK over the last year since we left, and they campaigned heavily for Brexit.
Mm-hmm.
Turn around and say we can now control our borders, blah, blah, blah. Their line now, of course, is okay, we Brexited, but immigration is going up. Therefore, the Tories are failing, blah, 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 you know, without sort of looking further into the nuance of why we have sort of these larger numbers coming in. It's also worth mentioning, since we Brexited, before then we were part of something called the, the Dublin, people screaming at the screen now. I think it was called the Dublin Accord. It's basically meant we could return people to the first safe country within the EU in which they came through, and it'd be a bit more of a spread that way. We're unable to do that since we Brexited, but as I say, Nigel Farage clearly doesn't want to hear this. Interestingly, in 2019, the last election that we had, Reform stood down a load of candidates to allow the Conservatives to win their huge majority. They're not doing it this time, you know, and they're saying, "Oh, you let us down that time," you know, blah blah blah. So he's, he's. I don't think they're going to win any parties, but hopefully they'll help the Conservatives not to as well. So good stuff, Reform. Split that vote.
I love the idea, the two of them just fighting each other, and you know, it's like, hey guys, scoot off to the side while you have your little tiff, and let the grown-ups do the real work, okay?
Yeah, you could do with that in the Republicans, couldn't you? In the Republican Party, you need even further right party,
God,
even more mad.
that's basically what our Republican Party is kind of turning into this, you know, MAGA wing versus
Mm.
the traditional Republicans who just, you know, want to cut taxes. You know, you have your cut taxes people, and then you have your, you know, do women need rights? We don't know. Those kind of people. And so there is a little bit of a split starting to happen between those two groups. And if Donald Trump loses the election in November, I think you will see those two groups just really
Wow.
come very far apart. At least that's what I'm hoping for. And then, yeah, those two can fight each other while the rest of us do the real work that needs to be done.
Yeah, if that's all right.
Sounds
Yeah, can
nice.
you fight over there? You're making a bit of noise. Thank you. Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah, keep your voices down. Thanks.
Now that's enough. I'll be honest, that's enough about what we're talking about Reform and stuff. So you're already talking about the US. Can we get a bit of a US update, please, Andrea?
Yes. So the big news over here is that Biden and Trump are gearing up for their first presidential debate, which is going to be next Thursday. So, Matt, I think if I had to give a prediction, this is going to be an absolute shit show. It's going to be on at about 2 a.m. your time, or else I would say let's watch it together transatlantically. But you probably would like to get your beauty sleep. So on the
Need
one
my beauty
side,
sleep. Yeah.
On the one side, you've got Joe Biden, who sounds as old as he is and is admittedly not the best at public speaking. I will absolutely say that his critics are correct about that. He's not the best at public speaking. He does make some missteps occasionally. He has the stutter that he's dealing with, and so he did a very good job at the State of the Union, though. So let's just say that. Then on the other side, you have Donald Trump, who is not really doing any formal debate prep and is just planning to kind of wing it, and who regularly says things that are absolutely insane or don't make any sense. So yeah, those are the two candidates,
Wow.
Matt. Shit.
What are the odds on one or both of them just bursting into tears and saying, "I don't know who I am"?
I mean, astonishingly good. The one good thing about this debate is that the microphones are going to get cut off after their 2 minutes is up. So every time they get asked a question or they do a rebuttal, they have 2 minutes, and after 2 minutes, they're going to cut the microphones off. So we won't have to listen to Trump blather on for too long, which is his specialty, as we all know. And my question is, could we do that all the time? Could we just give him 2 minutes on the microphone and then cut it off for just the sake of the collective blood pressure of the country? I mean, why not?
Yes, I think that's rather brilliant. And yes, please. Also, I don't think it would stop Trump gesticulating and talking and would really emphasize the differences between him and Hitler. He just
Yeah, he does.
that
He'll
sort
still
of
be
thing.
over there doing the accordion hands. He loves
Oh,
the
yes.
accordion
Oh, yeah,
hands.
that. It would just, which somebody would then set the music.
Yes.
You know that, right? Yeah.
Exactly. It would be like you're in a French cafe all over again. Just I say
It
let's
is.
give it a try. Yeah, yeah. But Matt, there's an even bigger news story going on. It's in fact a scandal. It is a giant scandal, and this one is very important. This is what the French would call la enchilada entière. Okay, so brace yourself. Are you ready for this?
Yeah, locked and loaded.
Just like a Republican. Great. Okay. So Senator Chuck Schumer, I can't believe I'm saying this, put cheese on an undercooked burger. I'll give you a minute to process that. I'm sure that's a lot to take in. And I want you to know that it's okay to have big feelings right now. I'm here for you.
Oh, the humanity. What an absolute turd.
It's the worst, isn't it? So the deal is Chuck Schumer posted a pic of himself grilling burgers on Twitter for Father's Day. And they did not look quite done yet, and one of them had a slice of cheese on the top. Now, some uninformed assholes are going to be like, hey, didn't one of your presidential candidates just get popped for 34 felony convictions and now he's not allowed to go to Italy anymore? Isn't that arguably the bigger scandal? To which I and any other reasonable person would say, what a wanker, borrowing that one from you guys. Obviously, we need to devote a lot more time to talking about this cheeseburger issue, and I'm currently hiring staff to ensure that we have full 24/7 team coverage.
I'm glad to hear it. I have to say, I'm now signing you up to say Winker. It sounds like Winker when you. Wonderful stuff. Thank goodness, by the way, I'm already subscribed to Phoenix News. I can't see any other network giving this much airtime to, let's be honest, a fairly major story. Well, except maybe Fox News, I suppose.
Sure.
Although Trump is definitely going to mention it during the debates, right? I mean, his microphone would probably be cut off at that point. You just get the, that sort of thing. I don't know.
Yes, just the accordion hands just pressing a cheeseburger and a slice of cheese together. One can only hope. Now, Matt, we have our two countries have a very special relationship. That's the title of the show. But next month we are going to be in competition with each other as both of our proud nations head to the Olympics in Paris. So I thought it would be fun to take a look at the uniforms that each of our teams will be sporting. Before I tell you about ours, do you have some guesses about what they will entail? Just think of the most American outfit possible. What comes to mind?
Okay, here we go. A baseball cap on top a gold Stetson with a white vest chaps over jogging pants, as you Americans say, with crossed, sawn-off shotguns across your back. Oh, and cowboy boots, which turned into winged gold sneakers. And you'll definitely win Best in Show with that. How close am I?
You're so close, so close. So we are actually going to be wearing blazers with denim jeans. For some reason, the blazer will not also be denim, which seems like a miss. We like to have, denim on top, denim on bottom, just the whole outfit. Otherwise though, it's a pretty darn American outfit. I do hope that the denim is not going to slow them down in the swimming events. A little worried about that.
Oh,
Got a little bit
yeah,
of
good
drag.
point.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
So you guys, I'm sure have some fabulous uniforms as well. If I'm imagining the most British outfit imaginable, probably like a long red velvet coat, fox hunting boots, and one of those tall furry hats from the palace guards with a powdered wig perched on top. How close am I?
You're kidding. That's my weekend outfit. And the tall furry hat, as you call it, is called a bearskin hat because it's made, you'll love this, from bears,
Oh,
actual bears. That's what we use to make our hats. Canadians shoot them and sell them to us. I mean, you're missing a trick here, America, right? But yes, that's what we get. Anyway, of course, the big news is that you missed this with the sporting sort of connection here, Andrea. The big
yeah.
news has to be America hosting the T20 Cricket World Cup.
Ah,
So, Andrea, what have been your highlights, and have you managed to see any games yet? Top 10, say top 10 highlights of the Cricket World Cup.
sure. Top 10. Let me think for a second. Quick question, though. What is a cricket? And is this an actual thing that exists, or are you just making up random sports to see what happens?
Of course, I'm not making up any more than I would make up gully, googly, or silly mid-on. So come on, Andrea, stop accusing me of making up random stuff and tell everyone where Cal's Corner is.
Somewhere in Wisconsin, I'd imagine. I don't know.
Probably, yeah.
If there's one thing I can promise you, it's that we will not be covering any cricket whatsoever on this channel. My solemn vow to you.
Okay, fair enough then. And on that final note, where Andrea has refused to talk about cricket and instead is just going to play a straight bat to everything to see out the innings, we'd like to thank
Sure.
you all for joining us today. Please do subscribe to Andrea's channel if you haven't already at Phoenix News Network for the American Carnage. And for the British Balls Up, mine is at interestingtimes.co.uk. And we'll see you all next week. Take care.
Bye bye.